my name is Andra Ghent. I'm an associate professor at Kenan-Flagler Business School. I work on real estate finance. Most of my research is on mortgage-backed securities and institutional investing in commercial real estate and other asset classes. We are going to be hosting our Investing in Affordable Housing conference next week. We're very excited about this. We're looking specifically in this conference at private market strategies. So just to give you some background on what we're concerned about with affordable housing. In the last 20 or 30 years, we've seen an increasing share of low-income renters' households, and by that I mean bottom half of the income distribution in the US, going towards rent. So they're spending a larger fraction of their income on rent, and that's increasing over time. And so we're really going to be focused in this conference on the rental market and what the private market can do on this. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the causes of these increases in the fraction of renters' income going towards housing. A lot of this is mirroring a rise in inequality overall in the US. Most of you have probably heard of this. And behind that trend, I think the biggest reason for that is that the wages of college-educated workers have gone up significantly in the last 40 years, while for workers that don't have a college degree, their wages are kind of the same as they were in 1980. And we can take out the top 1%, we get the same trend. So the basic thing that's gone on in the United States as well as other industrialized countries is we've had skill-biased technological change. And that has advantaged skilled workers, college-educated workers, and it's been a disadvantage to lower skilled workers. By that I mean primarily workers without a college degree. And so the question, what can we do on the housing side? We can't fix America's education system entirely, but we can work on sort of the supply of housing. What can we do to increase the supply of affordable housing? And some of the things we're going to be talking about at the conference are supply restrictions. So we're going to work through with some developers, what are really the barriers for you of increasing your supply? So where do your costs go up? And some of that is really in regulation, regulatory barriers, and some of those make sense, but they do increase the cost of housing, and that's ultimately passed on in the form of higher rents. We're also going to be talking about some new solutions, sort of co-working and co-housing spaces. And then in my panel, I'm going to be moderating. We're going to be talking with some investors from Linden Group, Bank of America Community Development Corp., and Nuveen. So Bank of America Community Development Corp. And Nuveen are both going to be talking about their responsible investing efforts, and they're really focused on what they can do to invest in the communities they serve, and not just in the housing front, but overall in empowering people to make good financial decisions and sort of get into a place to be financially sufficient households. And so again, we can't completely fix the income problem. And then Wade Cass-Stevens is going to talk a little bit about his efforts on what we call workforce housing. So often in housing markets, we talk about kind of workforce housing, which is kind of that, 80% of area median income, so a little bit below median income, but not really poor, usually working full-time, but still having some problems paying the bills. And then, the truly low-income households. And those often, the sense that we're hearing from industry professionals is we really need some government support for those ones. It's really going to be very hard for us to house those folks. So yeah, that's a lot of what the conference is going to be about, is sort of what we can do on the housing front. Again, we can't fix America's education system. We can't change the fact that there's been significant skill-biased technological change across the world in the last 40 years, but we can talk about different ways of increasing the supply of housing, because these college-educated and non-college-educated workers, they're both sort of competing for the same land. So that's going to be a lot of what we're going to talk about next week. So hope you can join us, and thanks so much for listening.